Hello, amazing people! Welcome back to another episode of Dean and Gertie Explore the World. In this week's episode, we're exploring historic Jamestown. Join us as we tour the Archaearium, displaying the historical finds from the Jamestown Settlement archaeological dig. Walk in the footsteps of the settlers and view the active dig sites, and visit the historic church and grave sites of the settlers. Alright, let's get going. This is the archaeological site that they are uncovering of the actual fort of Jamestown. And what that is first settlers that came to the Americas, what happened to them, like skeletal remains, shovels, beads, their day-to-day life encased in the ground that we're walking on. And they're being able to unearth it and discover what the actual fort looked like. There's a spot here where they would have actually landed.
He wasn't digging down in the swell because there was like a huge flood, I think. This is one of the bits of iron that were from the iron suits. Super heavy. That were super heavy. Yeah. A pot, one of those knives that you chop up hard meat in a disc. And a cannonball. Looks like a shovel. Another pot of pans. A beer glass. Another glass pot, and a cannonball, a brick, and a stove thing, I think, and a deer square.
So it's kind of interesting to kind of take a step back into time and realize some of the trials and tribulations of the original settlers prior to all of the modern amenities that we have today. Because if you can't look back, you can't learn and you can't go forward. So. The well was used in the first quarter of the 17th century, dating to the early years of Jamestown. When no longer usable, they were used as a place for garbage and unwanted items.
So in there they found cannonballs and skulls and all kinds of weird stuff in there.
Yeah. This is the burial site, or where they found that JR 1046B.
So one of the skeletons that's in the...
They think is that Bartholomew Gosnod, but they don't know. They don't have full confirmation, but I think it's likely that it's him. But this is where his spot was. Four palisade walls were built using materials and techniques like those originally. The reconstruction follows the footprint of the original 1607 post hole identified during excavation. Clay-filled trenches, and then the holes where they would be. So beneath the soil, they still found the post holes, which is why they put what they put up. If they were talking about Spanish, like they originally were worried that the Spanish would invade, but the Spanish never did. But you can see through the walls. So
it would have been pretty easy to get shot through the wall.
Yeah.
Any other day, they would have had people out here, but we're here on a holiday weekend, so some of them have called it quits earlier in the day, and there are about 6 or 7 of these sites still that they're digging on and continuing to learn what life was like here. We're going to go check out the church. Which again, you can see the original foundation of it. So this kind of tells a little bit about the church and the Knight's Tomb, which is the oldest ledger stone, originally discovered in 1901, which they have over here.
Thank you so much for joining us as we explored historic Jamestown. It was interesting and humbling to walk in the footsteps of the first settlers. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe to our channel. If you want to help support our journey, you can find us on Patreon. And as always, never stop exploring. We look forward to seeing you on our next adventure.